The topic today is, of course, the life, the rise, and the fall of Vinod Kambli, the legend who many cricket observers say derailed his own train to glory. A recent video of Vinod Kambli clutching Sachin Tendulkar's hand at a memorial for their coach has gone viral. Some are calling it an emotional reunion, but if you look closely, it is a grim reminder of what is and what could have been. It is a reminder of what happens when there's talent, but there's no discipline. In this video, you see a stark contrast between the lives of two men who were both childhood prodigies. Talent got both of them started, both of them in Team India, but discipline kept only one of them going. Kambli's fearless stroke play lit up stadiums across India, and with two test centuries in his debut year, greatness beckoned. But despite an average of 54 by his 17th test match, Vinod Kambli never got a game again for India. So what went wrong? Some blame it on fame, some others blame it on distractions. Tendulkar on one hand took the elevator to glory, on the other hand, Kambli, the other childhood prodigy, stumbled on the steps. Now glimpses of him, frail and battling, in fact well past his best, evoke both sympathy as well as regret among cricket fans across the nation. His downfall is a reminder that talent opens the door, but only resilience keeps them open. Kambli's journey will forever remain a what if etched in Indian cricket history. But while his cricket career might be over, Vinod Kambli is still fresh in the minds of cricket fans, and of course the video has also gone viral, sparking debate about his health. Joining us right now is Marcus Couto, who's been a former first-class umpire, but more importantly, he has known Vinod Kambli for 4 decades. On the other hand, also joining us is Vedam Jaishankar, sports journalist. Marcus, I'll start with you now. You might have well known that the video of Vinod Kambli and Sachin Tendulkar has gone viral. And of course, as a cricket fan, when I first saw the video, my first emotion was I was happy seeing the reunion of two of, potentially the biggest childhood prodigies Indian cricket has ever seen. But on the other hand, the second quick emotion I had was a concern for Vinod Kambli's health. For all the cricket fans watching right now, if you can just give us a health update of Vinod Kambli.
Yeah, it's Marcus Couto, Couto. Secondly, that video, when we saw first,
Noted.
we were very angry on that person who was, hunting away Bharat Ratna to go back and sit down on his seat. That attitude we did not digest. And Sachin himself on his own came there to meet Vinod Kambli. But this person, the organizer, Mr. Sunil Ramni or Ramchandran, I did not get his name, did not make their reunion last longer.
Right. Mr. Couto, now there's been a lot of speculation about Vinod Kambli's health. There was a video of him a couple of months back as well that went viral. Fans were concerned about his health. Even now, if you look at the video, he doesn't look in the best of health. He doesn't look like the Vinod Kambli that fans are used to seeing. If you can just give us a health update of Vinod Kambli, how's he doing?
After that video, that was like a negative, on Vinod. We went the next day to his house and we had our video, which I think you all don't have, where Vinod says he's fit and fine. Because after that, we had taken him to the Beach Candy Hospital, admitted him. But for some reason, those, good points on Vinod are not shown. Similarly, here, I think you did not get that clip. You got that whole clip where he's falling down near his building. We had admitted him to Beach Candy. He got all right. We took him home. And then he did not follow the medicines and what is to be, what the doctors advise. Dr. Adil Chagla, he's supervising him. And now he's not that worst what he was. He's improving.
All right. We'll, of course, come back to Vinod Kambli's health there, of course, try and get an update from you. But Vedam Jaishankar, who's also joining us right now. Vedam, everyone talks about Vinod Kambli's career, and the first train of thought that you have is what if? There are a lot of what ifs as far as Vinod Kambli's career is concerned. He's averaging 54.20 in test matches, and that was, of course, after his 17 test matches. In fact, after the first 7 tests alone, he averaged over 110. That's almost Bradman-esque. What went wrong?
Good evening, Ashish. Ashish, what you made your opening remarks, I agree with everything that you said. I don't disagree with anything at all. But Vinod Kambli is not the first, and the way we are running our cricket, he will not be the last. We need a lot of mentorship. Look at the way cricketers are. By the age of 13, 14, they're really not going to school. They're out there on the cricket field. And it's the field which makes them personality, makes them everything. What is it that they have? I mean, they have their sport. That's it. To play for India, you need to be an outlier. The rest of us can play and go home. But to play for India, you need to be an outlier. And an outlier in all forms. Now, where did Vinod Kambli really falter? He faltered against the West Indies when Courtney Walsh was bowling. Unfortunately, somebody kept saying that it's a Popadwadi attack. A Popadwadi attack took him out. They bounced so much at him, he couldn't play. They just took him out. Is there somebody talking in between? They just took him out.
There seems to be some audio issue with him. We'll come back to you now. But I'll go back to Kuto now. Mr. Kuto, there's, of course, a lot of speculation about Vinod Kambli. Now, of course, one of the things that a lot of people talk about is the supposed lack of discipline. And, of course, all of this is more or less hearsay. All of these are stories that usually come out of books, come out of stories that are spoken about in cricketing circles. But you watched him from close quarters. What went wrong? Vinod Kambli, the man who was destined for greatness, every single person that who's ever watched him play believed it. What happened? What went wrong?
People are just talking of his today's days, but he was the same from the earlier days too. Secondly, I feel that a cricketer should always be a little bit educated and have a good background. That after retirement helps him a lot.
Mr. Kutu, you say, of course, someone needs to have a good background as well to understand how to handle the sudden fame, the sudden rise in bank balance, and all the things that come with becoming a cricketing superstar in India. But also at the same time, Vinod Kambli had the best possible close friend that anyone could ever ask for in the game of cricket, and it's Sachin Tendulkar. Do you think Sachin Tendulkar has done enough for Vinod Kambli as a friend?
He has done more than enough, and even today he does. But it's upon you, to obey his orders or to listen to him. That is not under Sachin's control. So Vinod enjoyed his life. Sachin enjoyed his life the other way.
All right. Mr. Kuto, I mean, you're talking about Sachin Tendulkar as well. You're talking about Vinod Kambli as well. What difference do you see in both of these careers? Because on the surface, a lot of fans talk about how Sachin Tendulkar was more disciplined. Vinod Kambli probably did not have the same sort of a discipline. In your view, having seen Vinod Kambli, what do you think separated Vinod Kambli's journey from that of Sachin Tendulkar? What went wrong? What changed the direction?
As I just about 2 minutes ago told you, to be a successful cricketer, you should also have a good family background and a little bit of education. This was the big separation difference between both of them.
Right. Also, Mr. Kuto, Vinod Kambli's struggles with alcohol also have been well documented as well. How's he doing as far as that is concerned? Because a lot of fans, a lot of social media users were also pointing out that he looked drunk in those videos, while the others said that he was not drunk, he was just not well. What's the condition as far as the alcohol addiction is concerned?
No, he was not drunk, and he has stopped drinking because now he has no strength to drink also. So the question of drinking does not arise.
Right. Also, Mr. Kuto, a lot of people watching right now, a lot of cricketing fans watching right now will be wondering why the biggest cricketing board in the world, BCCI, which has a revenue almost twice that of the other big cricketing boards in the country isn't doing enough to help one of its greatest stars. I mean, he might have not got the sort of numbers that Tendulkar has, but he has still represented the country. Do you think the BCCI also is doing enough?
His wife, Mrs. Andrea, had gone to meet Mr. Abhi Kuruvilla. Abhi Kuruvilla rightly, told them what is the procedure and how BCCI is ready to help them. I think they are on the job.
But right now, is he getting any help from the BCCI?
His wife has approached the BCCI and they are on the job.
All right. All right. I'll take this point across to Vedam Jaishankar. Vedam, a lot of people will, of course, talk about how a cricketer's life, especially in India, is tough. I mean, there are millions of kids trying to get into the first starting 11 of Team India, and only, of course, like I said, 11 people make it. So it's a tough sport to be in. IPL has made it much better, much easier for players to have a career, even if they're not representing India. But still, do you think the BCCI should be doing more for those in the domestic circles? I mean, right now a lot of steps are being taken, but those who represented domestic sides or probably India as well, not very long ago, they are still struggling as far as finances are concerned.
No, it's not just the finances. You need to teach them how to handle themselves better. You look at the number of people we have lost, outstanding cricketers. Sadanand Vishwanath, brilliant. Maninder Singh, Shivaramakrishnan. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Vinod Kambli is not the first. He will not be the last. Unless we start doing something. What is that something? We need mentorship. And you really need to mentor these kids because they come in at the very young age. You don't even know how much of schooling they have. We talk about background. Background is important, but background is not the only thing, And yes, a lot of money can turn your head, but that's not it. You need mentorship. You need to handle them. It's a very sensitive thing, and you'll instinctively realize whom they trust, whom they don't trust. Those kind of situations. And you asked a question about is BCCI doing enough? No, it's not doing enough. It needs to get the best of professional help to get these boys. You're getting the best of coaches. You're getting the best of physios. Why don't you get the best of people who can mentor them? People who can look at look at them psychologically and
But
take them
Mr. Vedam
across.
Jaishankar, one of the first things that, especially when we talk about Vedam Jaishankar, when we talk about Vinod Kambli, one of the first things that one of the first suggestions that everyone seems to have is the fact that Vinod Kambli should actually be going to rehab. But I read somewhere that Marcus Couto had mentioned that Vinod Kambli has so far gone to rehab 14 times. So, Mr. Couto, clearly rehab is not the only solution that we need to be talking about. What more can the people do who are watching right now concerned about Vinod Kambli's health? What can they do to help Kambli out?
What happens, at rehab? He goes to rehab, he comes back getting all right. In rehab, once you're all right, they don't keep you there. They send you home. So I had a plan here. I have a friend by the name Dr. Santosh Jadhav. He has a hospital here in Panvel, and he is going to offer him a 1 BHK room. And where Vinod will stay there, get his treatment there, and be there for a year or more. So we are trying to look for this alternative which will help him.
All right. And the fans who are watching right now, or the people who want to help Vinod Kambli out, what can they do? How can they reach out to you?
They have to reach out to Dr. Santosh Jadhav, who has a hospital here in Panvel, and he will guide them what way they can help him. Somebody can help him with the charges of the physiotherapy. Others can help him with the small charges of the hospital food, or there are several other charges, medicines, or even pampers to the least person can contribute would be highly obliged.
All right. Mr. Kuto, we've spoken enough about Vinod Kambli's health and the struggles. You are a very close friend of his. You speak to him often, I believe. What does he have to say about his cricketing journey? Does he regret what happened, or is he happy with the career that he's had and the opportunities he's gotten? How does he look at his own cricketing career?
He enjoys. He always talks about how he what innings he played, the 200, all that memories. He can anytime tell you ball by ball. But recently, in the last few months, we find that the present memory is not update on him.
All right. And is there any particular innings that Vinod Kambli talks about apart from the 664 partnership with Tendulkar?
That day at the function, just 5 minutes before, he was speaking to Devendra Prabhu Desai, who is coming out with a book on Wankhede Stadium. So he spoke to him on that 200 score he did with him. And Devendra wrote it down point by point very nicely. He could recollect all the sixes, all the eight, the bowlers, and all that.
Absolutely. Also, Mr. Kuto, a lot of young cricket fans watching right now as well, and we see a similar trajectory as well as far as other careers are concerned. Any message that you have for all the young cricketers who are watching right now? What's the lesson that they can learn from Vinod Kambli's career?
Please don't neglect on studies. Whether you get 35%, but please continue with those studies. It's not that you should get 80% plus marks in school, but don't neglect your education. That is my humble request.
All right. All right, Mr. Kuto, I'll take this point across to Vedam Jaishankar. Vedam, the reason why I asked Mr. Kuto about this particular message for the young fans is because of a similar story that we are seeing unfolding right now. I don't know if I should be taking the name of the cricketer right now, but there is another such cricketer who was once compared to Tendulkar. Now he's being compared to Vinod Kambli. And we are seeing how his career is also playing out right now. So what's the role that the BCCI has to play to ensure that these sort of players who are of course are seen as generational talents, they are not lost to things like fame or sudden money?
No, you have a point there because, like I mentioned, uh, Kambli is not the first and he will not be the last. There will be many more unless there's a lot of course correction that the BCCI does. And BCCI, maybe the BCCI also needs help. It has a lot of money, it's generating a lot of money, but is it going in the right direction? They need to sort it out because these are famous cases. How many others have we lost? Who have not really made it. There was a Karnataka cricketer who suddenly went blank and stripped himself in the middle of the pitch, and he was actually crying out for help. But everybody said the guy is crazy and let him go, So I'm saying that, there are a lot of sportsmen in India, they were and they still are, who need help, especially cricket. It's so easy to get lost in cricket because, like you said, it is an ocean. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of cricketers playing. Kids who want to become cricketers. The push is great, and nobody has time for you. If one player goes out, another player is there to replace him. So there's no friendship really lost over there. But it is in situations like this that the state associations, the national association, they have to come in and they have to guide. You need this not when a guy is 35 years of age, but you need this mentorship when a guy is 13, 14, 15 years of age. And if you can provide it at that stage, when he's soaking up like a sponge, then you have a way forward. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. And we're going to lose many more cricketers like this. And at the end of the day, it leaves a bitter taste in the mouth for all of us, when you see so much of talent, and you mentioned about the cricketer who right now, everybody realizes there are people like Peterson, there are people like uh, Watson, Ponting, everybody talks about him. They said this is a superb talent, he needs to sort it out. But, maybe he's crying out for help. Maybe he doesn't know how to go about it. So the board can't just let it go. Let me remind you, Ricky Ponting, when he was a young cricketer, was getting into barroom brawls. The Australian Cricket Association decided that he had something going for him. And they took him aside, told him that he is a potential Australian captain, and dried him out and made him a better person and a better cricketer. Now that is the kind, that stepping in at the right time is most important. And I'm not so sure that the BCCI is sensitive enough about this, even about this Vinod Kambli case or about the other youngsters' case. They're not sensitive enough, and maybe because there is so much of surfeit of talent. There is so much talent they can't afford to focus on one person. But you need to help society also. It's not just a question of raking the money. Why? There are cricketers who have committed suicide. These things don't come up. There are cricketers who have ended up in prison for stealing and other things. So none of these things come out. There are cricketers who have handled a whole lot of other things. And why this doesn't come out is there is a mental issue. And that mental issue is because of the various pressures that a cricketer has to go through. And that pressure is because so many are playing the game and the rewards are so great. You might say IPL is around the corner, but IPL is not just the answer, because you need to be in that zone all the time. And that's not possible. You're used and then you're thrown away. Then what happens? It's the board's responsibility to ensure that somebody is not just used and thrown away, but at the right age, step in, treat them, mentor them. Not just the cricket part of it. Yes, cricket part of it, there are other professionals who handle it. But a whole lot of other issues, they need to look out. And if we don't look out for people like this, we are going to lose cricketers. When I say lose, you lose them to society. They become recluse, or they become
Absolutely.
antisocial, a whole lot of other things. This will happen again and again and again. And that's the sad part of Indian cricket. It's the ugly side of Indian
Absolutely,
cricket.
Vedam. I think you summed it up very well. The fact that everyone talks about the glitz, the glamour, the razzmatazz that comes with the cricketing glory, but nobody talks about the lows and also the dark underbelly of what really goes on with those that did not make the cut. And of course, this is the story of Vinod Kambli. And of course, while his cricketing story might be over, he's only 52. He still has aspirations as far as cricket is concerned. He still has aspirations about life. And as Mr. Kuto pointed out, there is a way that every single person watching today, all the cricket fans who have all those beautiful memories of him, his double hundreds, and of course, all the talent that he possessed, all of them can help him out with the way that Mr. Kuto suggested today. Mr. Marcus Kuto and Mr. Vedam Jaishankar, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast for this discussion today. On that note,